Hi, I am CJ, and I'd like to invite you to our BTL event on February 11th. We hope you can come. If you're curious about why BTL or why you would want to come to the event, we really invested in the equipment more from a metabolic and a rehabilitative state. We care a lot about health span and longevity. So, as it pertains to our patients, we have our patients come and step on an InBody scale, which is a bioimpedance scale, and it helps us tell much more insight about the patient's overall metabolic health. Sure, body contouring, which is large in part what drives people to want to do the BTL equipment or utilize the EmSculpt Neo. The EmSculpt Neo does increase skeletal muscle mass and decrease body fat. And we have different applicators that can be put on different types of the body. So oftentimes you'll see this equipment in med spas purely for the body contouring. We do it more from like a metabolic health standpoint, longevity, health span, cognition, and another tool to help people get stronger faster. So when patients stand on the scale, the scale is going to give us a report. It's going to give us a lot of information on the patient that helps them uniquely dial themselves in to get to the health status that they want to be. So when we stand on the scale, this is amazing. This is somebody who has well proportions. Total weight of 180 pounds. This individual has about 80 pounds of pure skeletal muscle mass. And across the board, no one ever said, I wish I had less muscle. So the more muscle, the more metabolically fit you are, and prevents all cause mortality, reduces the risk of heart attack, stroke, reduces the onset of cognitive decline, can be protective against osteoporosis. So lots of skeletal muscle mass has a lot to do with bone protection and metabolic health. And then body fat. So somebody who has a curve like this or lack of a curve is more of like an I shape. Somebody that has a C, this is somebody who we're going to want to have some interventions. We're going to want to increase their skeletal muscle mass and decrease their body fat. So this individual, even though that they only weigh 135.3 pounds, they only have 47.6 pounds of skeletal muscle mass. So for that frame, they are metabolically weak, and this is alarming. There's also an indication that osteoporosis is probable, if not already diagnosable, it is probably diagnosable in the near future. And then same thing, this body fat, they're about a 1-to-1 ratio of skeletal muscle to body fat. And that's a ratio that we would not like to see. So this gives me then medical justification on why the EmSculpt Neo would be helpful to get them out of this range, to get them more muscle faster and decrease body fat faster. We can do this in combination with prescription GLPs. We can do this in addition to all natural GLP with orthomoleculars products. We also could do this in conjunction with just a basic diet lifestyle. If somebody is eating a high processed diet, there's some small changes that we can make with the patient to help get them to where they want to be and get them more metabolically fit and stronger. We do see and observe patients that are doing GLPs either online that are not being monitored with an InBody or body composition, that they're actually, some of them scarily, they're losing skeletal muscle mass and they're not losing the body fat, which then unfortunately is actually putting them at even greater risk. When anybody does any sort of weight loss program, what we want to see is that they maintain skeletal muscle mass and eventually increase that skeletal muscle mass with time. We do know that on the prescription GLPs, especially if they're not proper monitored for caloric intake, high protein, and creatine, we see that skeletal muscle loss at such a greater rate. And in our opinion, it is not safe and wise. So again, we love having the observation and being able to help the patients along the way to make sure that we're truly being safe and efficacious and truly helping them restore and improve metabolic health. Somebody down here, though, this D type. So you'd think D, this is a bad grade. As it pertains to body comp, this is somebody who's very, very fit. Of 191.7 pounds, this patient has over 100 pounds of skeletal muscle mass. Nobody ever said, I wish I had skeletal muscle mass. Skeletal muscle mass overall is a huge indicator of longevity and reducing the risk of what's considered all-cause mortality. So that's meaning struck by lightning, hit by a bus, or suffering a stroke or heart attack, or having a diagnosis like cancer. Your survivability and thrivability is directly correlated to your skeletal muscle mass. So that's one of the reasons why we love performing the InBody. That's another reason why we feel confident that when patients want to elect using the EmSella and the EmSculpt Neo to get them where they want to be, it goes hand in hand, and it's great to see this with a tool like the InBody. We hope to see you at our next event, February 11th. Call the front desk or email the girls to reserve your spot for a free demo and a free InBody. Hope to see you there.